broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to the Switch to Birth AfterBuzz After Show. If you have not already, go onto YouTube, subscribe, youtube.com/AfterBuzz. Also, we're on iTunes and SoundCloud. Subscribe there as well. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. I am honored and a little giddy to tell you who's here, guys. DW Moffett's here. Oh my goodness. Also, Hannah's here.
Oh, hey guys. No big deal.
Yeah. Three's a crowd, Hannah. Three's a crowd.
Great. I'll just roll right on out of here.
We are live talking about the season finale, the mid-season finale.
Right.
The heartbreaking.
Breaking hearts.
Breaking hearts. I want to start with your thoughts overall on the episode. DW.
I was, as it goes, our showrunner, Lizzie Weiss, is very secretive about the scripts. Mm-hmm. I mean, if something major is coming up, then I will, she'll let us know. But there was a storyline that we never shot because the network didn't approve it, but that was very major for my character, and so she sort of came to me and said, is it okay if this happens to you and all this stuff? I can't say what it is.
Yeah, that was a tease.
That's the biggest tease ever.
But just so when major stuff happens, she lets people know, like she let Max Adler know that storyline was coming up with Tank, and obviously they let Vanessa know so that they were prepared if they had any issues around it, blah, blah, blah. So I have to say I was a little surprised that they broke up at the end of the episode.
You and me both.
So, but this is television. This is so I know that he's going to redeem himself in some magnificent way. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Over the course of the next 10 episodes, and hopefully on into another season after that.
Yeah.
But I think that Lizzie is really, really good at creating a structure for really wonderful storytelling. I mean, it's not easy. I've been on a lot of shows, and it's not easy. And she's really good at it. And so I'm just very happy to be a part of it. And I was chatting with you guys before we went live. I basically download the episodes on iTunes because we don't have a television, because we're crazy people and live in the mountains, and I don't want my kids watching TV 24 hours a day, so we don't have a TV sitting in the living room. We watch stuff on laptops, and I watched it today before I came on to your show, and I was just saying, it's always great when I watch an episode and I go, wow, they're so good. Wow, she's so good. And, because even though I don't watch it on the big screen in my living room, I watch a lot of television because I direct, I'm writing, so I want to know what's going on in Hollywood. And so I'm not going to bag on specific shows, but you guys know, you watch a lot of television. There's a lot of television out there where you kind of go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That was a yikes moment. Like, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of yikes moments on our show. I mean, I have to say, we're really blessed with an amazing cast. It's so truthful. It's always so honest. And I thought the finale was a particularly good example of that element.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys tackle great issues without ever being extreme or ridiculous. It's you tackle it so realistically. It's always...
Well, that's a credit to Lizzie, the writers. But I also think, it's also a credit to everyone on our show gets it. No one's trying to be the star. No one's trying to be like, it's all me. And that generosity shows, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And we will talk about the Bennett situation at the end. I know everybody wants to talk about it now, and I'm like, you know what? I don't. We're putting it at the end. I want to start with Catherine and Toby because two things happened in this episode. Catherine and Toby put on their show, and it was beautiful and wonderful, but what they wanted to happen didn't. Okay. Right. Toby got told to grow up. And I am so happy because I feel like this whole season, or this whole half season, has been a lot of the adults telling the kids to grow the F up. And I feel like finally Toby got it. And I'm like, oh, good. Yes. The oldest one is finally doing it.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I thought that his stuff with Leah, which could be very saccharine, or like when he confronted her, it could have been really like, over the top, wasn't. The wonderful thing about Lucas is, and I'll get to another thought I have about his music.
Yeah.
But as an actor, he is so simple. I mean, he never pushes, and I really respect that in him. It's really easy with heart-tuggy television to push emotionality.
Yeah.
And I watch him, and I'm like, wow, man, you're super honest.
Yeah.
And I really respect that. That's something that I've learned by watching myself be horrible on national television and push.
I've never seen that.
Well,
I've never seen you be horrible.
But we'll talk. But I've learned by not just watching myself, but others, and go, oh, they didn't need to do that. Didn't need to do that. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. And he's just wonderfully simple. What I was going to say about Lucas is every time he sings, I'm like, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Like, every time he sings. So I'm like, I really want them to use him more musically. And I always have wanted them to use him more musically. It's just, I think it's just hard to fit into the show.
Right.
Because it's not a show about his band. But I just, every time Lizzie figures out a way to use him musically, I applaud that, because I think he has a beautiful voice. And it's a sort of a secret weapon that we have that I like him to break out from time to time.
Well, Leah as well.
Leah as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I just, Leah's had such an amazing career. I'm like, they don't need to show more of her gifts. I mean, dancer, beautiful body, ballet, I'm like, but of course I sort of always assume her multi-talents will be used, but I didn't know she was that good of a singer either, quite frankly, until she broke it out a couple of years ago.
Are you going to sing some tunes coming up?
He sang in the Christmas one.
They broke it out a little bit for the Christmas.
I remember.
I'm not, maybe they'll have me play tennis someday and I can show them all. But,
that's next. What do you guys think about Toby and Lily? Is that a thing we care about? Is that a thing that is going to happen?
I like Lily, but I never really care about Toby and Lily. I don't know why. I just don't.
It's funny. I often wonder sometimes when Lizzie kind of has a relationship like that sort of goes along, and you kind of go,
right,
that she's setting us up for a boom.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm like you guys. I don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, she's a delightful actress.
Really?
And just the sweetest thing. But so I love having her around. It's just I don't know what that's going to be.
The end game yet of their relationship.
I like them. I think this is the most mature relationship he's had.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think she's good for him. Yeah. And I also just love everything about her. Yeah. I think from the first time we saw her in that cute lingerie outfit, I think that was the first time I was like, I like Lily. Yeah. But I think that I like this relationship. I want to see it go far.
Yeah. I really like her, and I think she brings a lot to the table for his character. But in doing that, she's also shown how immature he is, and that's what's driven me crazy, because I'm like, Toby, get it together.
I feel like now he will.
I agree. He had a come to Jesus moment, so
Also, he needs
figure it
to
out.
cut his hair.
He does. Somebody
talk to him about what's going on with that hair.
Okay, I am not in charge of the hair, but I saw a lot of tweets last night, like, WTF with Toby's hair.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of, all of a sudden, it became like a mohawk, kind of.
That's what
But
I
like
kept wondering.
flattened and glued to his head.
So I think, I don't know. I don't know. When I see Lucas in 3 weeks in Santa Clarita at the makeup trailer, I'll go, I don't know what I'm going to behold. I have no idea.
At least he got rid of that situation.
Yes.
We were not a fan of that either.
Okay, but I have to say that episode, the what if episode,
The Christmas one?
Christmas one where he comes back and he's like the emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite performance by any actor in any episode of Switched at Birth was Lucas Grabeel as emo Toby.
Yeah. Hitting on
Bay. Yes, yes. That was when she said she was deaf, and he goes, "You mean you can't hear anything?" And he goes, "Wow, that is so profound." I was like, "Whoa!" I was so in love with him at that moment. It's crazy.
Speaking of love.
Speaking of love, wait. I have a segue.
Go for it.
Mingo turned a corner.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Mingo.
Right?
I'm 100% pro dingo now.
Me too.
I mean, because I have... He's the loveliest young man. I see him at the read-throughs. Hi! Everyone says you've got an amazing body. I haven't seen it yet, but everyone says you've got an amazing body.
It's true.
It's true.
And I've seen him be the jerk.
Yep.
And I thought, like, oh god, another jerk. Teen jerk.
That's how we feel.
Yeah,
Yep.
but he was awesome last night. I thought
great.
he was fantastic. I thought
Yeah.
that scene with Daphne in the waiting room when he was sitting for her, it was like so sweet.
Okay, then let's talk about Daphne and Mingo and that whole situation.
Yeah.
All right, so first Daphne gets a D, which it bothered me so much that it took us till the end of the episode for someone to point out to her that she can retake that class. I was like, is this some magic school where you cannot retake classes?
Right.
What kind of university is this? All right, so at least he points it out.
Right.
Thank you, Mingo. All right, so when Natalie and Travis are hit by a drunk driver, everyone panicked that Natalie was dead,
Oh, absolutely. I thought the same thing. I was like, gosh.
which
shoot.
was unacceptable. I would not have allowed it.
Yes.
I want to let Lizzie know I would not allow that.
She loves her too much. That would never happen.
Good.
Yeah.
And it's seeing Daphne have her love for medicine or her drive to become a doctor just reinstilled in her
Yes.
was necessary and beautiful. But if this storyline doesn't pay off somehow with what happened to Travis and Natalie, I will be very disappointed.
Well, I think it is. I mean, I'm just assuming that she's going to somehow continue her studies, but focus on interpreting for
Right.
medicine somehow. I'm assuming.
It better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it
Which is
will.
a great fit, because isn't that something that she could potentially do before even graduating if she was just interpreting at the
Yes.
hospital?
Yeah. And you know that really happened to Natalie, to
Oh, really?
the car crash, and there was no interpreter.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that actually happened to it's Stephanie, right? Is the yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, she and some deaf friends were in a road trip.
Yeah.
Got run off the road, went down a ravine, were trapped, had to get jaws of life out.
Wow.
They get to the hospital, and they're all like, "What's wrong with you people?"
Oh, my gosh.
Like,
that's
yeah.
awful.
So that whole, where's her interpreter? You need to have this.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Like, that was kind of her mother's experience when she got to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Yeah.
insane.
So we had to push her out of an episode. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name because I refer to her as @ModelStella because I'm always tweeting her. I feel bad. It's Stephanie Nigueras, right? Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah. But that happened to her.
Wow.
And so we had to push her from one episode to another, which is how Lizzie found out about it, because I was like, what do you mean she's not here? Oh my God, she blah, blah, blah. And so Lizzie, incorporated it into the story.
Wow.
Which is great. It's a good thing to think about, because it's another situation that I never really thought about until they showed it on the show.
Right.
And I love that the show does that. It always is pushing my limits on things.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I think we have some questions from the chat roll.
Sure.
Yes, we do. We have 2 questions from your favorite, Booze69Bs.
Hi, Booze69Bs. Hello.
So she has 2 questions. One is, Yael, do you want to switch seats with Hannah right now?
Of course I do. We all know I do, let's be honest.
And 2, DW.
Yes.
Was it hard to learn sign language?
I will say, just the quick, dirty answer is no. Primarily because we have always had an ASL Master assigned to the show, which means that that person is there when we're shooting, making sure that whatever signs are being used are the ASL kind of approved signs, and they're not like slang signs or like mushy signs. And currently, well, really since I was tasked with learning ASL, because John Kennish in the beginning was like, we're going to get her an implant. She doesn't have to sign. No one has to sign. She can be normal. And once I got over that, our ASL Master has been Jack Jason, who's Marley's interpreter, Marley Matlин's interpreter, and has been, since she won the Oscar.
Right.
So Jack will say, do you want me to send you a video, or do you want to do it in person? And I'm always like, send me a video. One time I had a super lot of signs, and so he came to the house, and we went through it over like an hour. But I am multilingual, so it's not hard for me to do other languages. We've had some actors who had a really hard time with it, and we've had other actors come in and boom, like really fast. What's nice for me to see is like Daphne's roommate, that actress. She was already fluent in ASL, and that really helps because it allows Lizzie to write a lot more to that strength. It's tough sometimes when we have to do a little bit of a cheat when, like, Daphne's got a new boyfriend and magically he's signing really well all of a sudden. But in general, I would say they've cast actors who seemed to learn it pretty quickly, and I have a great teacher, so it's easy pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Mingo's going to learn then soon.
He better.
Yeah, but he seems like a very bright boy, so I think he will.
Love him.
We know.
Yeah.
I love him.
And a question relating to what we were just talking about is from Katie H. She says, how do you guys feel about the lady treating Daphne and Natalie in the way that she said, oh, we don't have those services on the weekends?
I feel about her the way I feel about Vimla. She should be punched in the face. Next.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Daphne's expression in that scene said it all.
Yeah.
Like what the? What do you? What? Because I think that. Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, I bet half the hospitals in America, if you walked in and you were profoundly deaf, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah. And it when she yells at her, you have to look at me.
I love that.
Yes.
I was like, tell her, and then hit her.
Yeah.
What? I was very angry. So Mingo, let's talk about Mingo or Dingo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's happening.
Yeah.
There's no way to fight it now. He has told his mother about Daphne.
Yeah.
That was a sweet. I had forgotten that little couplet from the script, and I was like, oh. I was like, wow.
So cute.
Because it's funny sometimes, I'm one of those actors that sometimes I'll go, my lines, my lines. I mean, I'm at the read-through, so I'll hear everything, but I had forgotten that, and that was a sweet moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I loved that.
That said, when I was studying ASL and I took a deaf culture class, the sentence that we were always told was the one thing deaf people can't do is hear, not sing. So that was a really interesting to have Daphne say, deaf people can't sing. I was like, I don't think that's correct. I'm pretty sure it's not. And then we found out that it's not.
Right.
I was right. All right. Let's talk about another couple. Regina and Bishop.
Oh, I love to talk about them.
Apparently we're the only ones who call him Bishop and not Eric.
Yes.
Our bad.
Okay.
He's Bishop.
Yeah.
So the cracked mug is for sale. And Regina reveals that she loves him. And then we have the most amazing heart-to-heart ever with John and Regina.
I know. We laughed about that at the read-through. It's sort of like, and it was hard for me because John has never been like, you know, who were those columnists you write to?
Dear Abby.
Yeah, I've never been Dear Abby, and yet all of a sudden John is sort of Dear Abby. So it was a little bit of a challenge for me. We took out one line. I just was like, okay, I can do this, but I have to do this like John Kennish would do this,
Right.
and kind of have it be kind of awkward, kind of difficult, but I care about her, so I'll do it. But it can't be like, I can't be sitting there going, well, Regina, life is what you make of it. I mean, you know, I couldn't do that. So I thought it came off pretty well. And, you know, Constance is fantastic. So you always know that she's going to get there emotionally. And I just let that be kind of the motor of the scene and let John kind of be open to that. It's funny with John. You know, I keep saying to Lizzie, John's never had therapy. He would not say something like that. You know, so because we live in California and because our sort of life vocabulary is a little more open or expansive than than an ex-baseball player in Kansas City's life vocabulary might be. Even though he's a smart guy and he listens to the radio and has an interesting wife, blah, blah. I mean, I still think there's sometimes I have to go, guys, John didn't have therapy. I don't think John would say this. I think John, and at this point, Lizzie knows I'll be walking towards her at the read-through. She goes, I know. You don't have to say anything. But that, I you know, and again, it's one of those scenes where like, oh yeah, that scene. I remember bitching about the language, but it came off pretty well.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in that thing is when she goes, I love you, and she just goes, and he just looks at her like, oh, Regina.
My favorite line from the heart to heart is when John goes, yikes. That is the rudest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've seen John, or at least I have, from the beginning on this amazing character arc where he's gone from, I always said he was, I personally think he's the worst dad. He overreacts about everything. Like, oh no, you got a D. That's it. You're grounded. I'm taking away your car forever. You're never leaving the house. And now, you know, he's the one that people are going to. Last week, Bay was like, I need you to find someone else. I'm going to California. And now Regina. And so there's this great...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The past 4 episodes, you've had like moments with different characters. I feel like each episode that have been so heart to heart and have been the like aha moment of the episode for certain characters, and it's been great. It's like she said, a great arc for the character as from the beginning, where it's always like, who cares about John's opinion, because John's crazy unless it's Yael.
Yeah, please.
But now, I mean, John is saying all the right things at all the right times, and it's absolutely great. And
I think organically it's believable.
Yeah,
it isn't
it
like
is.
John went from NRA Republican kind of hard ass, which I was sort of in the beginning, to this, you know, Yoda figure.
Right.
But I think the journey that John has been on with Daphne and everything has kind of cracked him open so that it is believable. The nice thing about the scene with Regina in this episode is that she doesn't come to me. You know, I see her weeping in the car. You know, if the scene had been longer, you would have seen me in the kitchen going, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And she's in there for 5 minutes, like, what's going on? So that, because I think it would have been odd if she had gone, John, can we talk? Because it would have been like, no, I don't want to know what. I don't know, what do you want? You know. So I think the way Lizzie structured it was made it believable.
Yeah. And I mean, we also have seen that John and Bishop are like BFFs.
Yes.
Well, that I think, I think both Catherine and I, and it's very believable because Angelo's death was so tragic that we want her to be happy. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, hey, if he's a decent dude, I'm in. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about if he's a decent dude, because we had the biggest reveal ever, which I think we called.
I think we did too.
I think we called it.
I still kept thinking that we were going to find out she was pregnant.
She's not pregnant.
We may.
Whatever, she's not pregnant.
Oh, you mean Regina?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It may happen. Next season.
Text Lizzie.
Yeah.
What about her? She's pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah, get that going. We keep saying, like, everybody wants Yael to be a writer on the show, so.
It's because I would write some weird stuff. Will's mother is alive, guys. She is alive.
Yeah.
Which... I want to know why they keep moving. I want to know what that has to do with the gang.
I know. How do all these things connect?
It's got to. I mean, here's the deal. I'm with you. I know as much as you guys do. So that's... Welcome to being an actor in Los Angeles, people. I have no idea what's happening with Regina. But when the gang tattoo was revealed, I just assumed there was some... legal lifestyle something that he got away from and she didn't. But that's my guess.
Right.
He could have said my mom's in a convent. I don't. I have no idea. So anyway.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no thoughts on it. It blew my mind because I didn't think that would actually be the reveal.
Right. Because you were sure that she was pregnant, and I was sure that we're always wrong.
And when she was being all emotional and like in love with him throughout the episode, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I may actually be right. She's gonna be pregnant. She's being ridiculous."
Definitely crossed my mind.
I was wrong.
How about the horse riding? They pulled that off pretty well.
They did, especially after Terrell told us about it.
Yeah,
I was reading it going, are you kidding me? Like, we're like an ABC family show. We don't get on horses. Like, we go outside and make it a car wash. We don't, like, go get on horses. And they did it. They pulled it off well. It looked natural. They looked competent.
And if you don't know how it was done, watch last week's recap where Terrell reveals.
On the sawhorses.
Yeah.
Where they just.
I was looking for that because I think someone took a picture of them on the sawhorses, and I was like, wow, that's really.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right, before we get to the story everyone wants to talk about, I need to take a moment to thank our fans. Because of all of you, because of everyone listening and live streaming, chatting with us, DW Moffett's here. This is a huge deal, for me especially, but also for the show. Also because of you guys, we had Terrell, we had Rana, that's it.
Yes.
But so worth it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. So keep live tweeting, keep chatting with us, and go onto iTunes and rate and review us. If you like us, you'll give us 5 stars. If you don't, you'll give us 4 stars, and you'll leave a comment. And next season, when we pick up, I will read those comments because I forgot to check them. I was way too excited. We have chat roll questions.
K Skittles, a.k.a. Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
She says, Yael, DW, will you guys please adopt me? Please, 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 please.
He has kids already.
I'm full up. I'm 2. I can't go to 3 because then I go from man-to-man to zone defense, and I can't do that.
Kayla, you'll lose your TV.
Also, I thought Terrell adopted you.
Yeah.
That was a thing that happened. What else we got?
We have... I think you guys already talked about it,
okay.
But can we please talk about the bond between John and Regina?
We did.
Yes.
And it was beautiful.
Yep, I just had to make sure that we covered that.
Okay.
Will John want to punch Emmett now that Bay and Emmett broke up? I know we're going to get to that.
Okay.
And I think everything else is about Bay and Emmett. They're just waiting for it.
Okay.
All right. I'm as intrigued and excited to see how that... because that's obviously going to drive the next 10 episodes. Right. Is Bay going to have an in-between boyfriend? Is what's going to bring Emmett back? What's going to bring her... I don't know. I know this. In general, John thinks Emmett has been, in general, a gentleman. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine that... John would want to hit Emmett. I think that John wants Bay to be happy, but at the same time, John would probably, if he had watched that scene with them on the beach, John would appreciate Emmett's honesty, because he was basically saying, there have been problems, I'm the only one with the courage to say it. And Bay right now at the end of the episode was like, he's a liar, he's this, he's that. I don't think John would ascribe to that. I think John would be a little kinder, because I think John likes Emmett and would understand that Bay's kind of overreacting at this juncture.
Yeah.
Well, and John stuck up for Emmett pretty much when everything was going on with Bay, explaining that he may not know how to feel. I think he would still be that way with the situation.
So let's talk about the script that Emmett is now shooting. I personally feel that Emmett had zero right to write this script.
That's my phone. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Do they want to join?
Yeah.
It's my writing partner.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Let him know he got a shout out.
Yeah. Shout out to the writing partner. So Emmett had no right to write about Bay's assault. I feel like, at least for her, she's feeling like she's being victimized all over again. Like he is victimizing her to these strangers, and I feel like that is something that he does not understand.
I agree.
And I know the fans are going to be upset because they're all, Bennett. Great. Look, they're the end game relationship. They'll get back together. Calm down. It's not like they're not going to get back together.
Yeah.
We said it. They're Ross and Rachel. Relax. But I think that this breakup was one on its way. We had this whole season. I was like, they're going to break up. There's no way that they can keep fighting. But he had no right to write this, and he should have told her. And she, for the first time, I'm agreeing, she had all right to be that upset.
Thank you. I just always feel like poor Bay all the time. I just think that character, she's so sweet. She's always looking out for everybody else's best interest.
Heroin sandwich. Heroin sandwich.
And I feel like every time she puts herself out there for anybody else, somehow she still ends up being the one hurt. And it stinks to watch. It's not funny, Yael. It's sad. But I completely agree. I think no matter what the situation is or how, whatever you're writing about in somebody's life, if you're using somebody else's personal life to draw from for your own creative venue, then there needs to be a conversation with them prior to you doing so. Yeah. And I did not like it.
I agree, but at the same time, I can totally see how an 18-year-old film student would not figure that out. So when I was watching the episode, and she said that, you should have told, and he was like going, but it's my life. Like, why can't I use my life? I bought what he was saying. I didn't feel like he was bullshitting her. I didn't feel like he was lying to her to cover up the fact that he knew he should have told her. I really think that he thought he was doing art.
But that's because he doesn't realize, he still, as she says, he still thinks that she cheated. He still feels that way. He may not think it logically. He may understand she did not, that is not what happened, but he feels like she did something wrong. And that is something that I wish, because we had those 2 episodes that were so controversial and eye-opening and opened up this world of discussion, and I feel like that discussion needed to continue throughout the season and see where it left us, because where we are now, I feel like he needs to understand. And maybe I want Melody to talk to him.
Well, I think it's got to be coming. I do. I think for them to get back together, which I would only assume is probably going to happen.
So you're like a Bennett fan, right? Then
I'm a Bennett fan because from the first read through of the pilot, when I met him for the first time, I was like, wow, he's really good. Like, who is that kid? And they were like, well, he's guest star. I was like,
what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think I'm talking out of school here. He was a guest star on the pilot. And they were like, oh, no, we have to have him around. So they they came to him and said, well, you want to be part of the team? And he was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. But no, he, I always thought that he was, and he's learned a lot. You can tell if you watch him from season 1 to now. Like, he's such he's learned so much as an actor. You can see his growth as an actor. And it's, you know, so I think that in order for him to get back with Bay, he has to process this.
Yeah.
And I think this discussion that you're hungering for, it will take place. I'm pretty sure, because Lizzie loves that.
Yeah.
She loves that topic. She thinks it's important, and as do we all.
Yeah. I mean, the show is constantly coming up with ways to present things that people don't even think about or don't talk about or really should be discussing. And that's what makes this show so amazing. It started out, I feel like, as a very clear-cut, here is the premise. And then they were like, you know what, we have this platform to delve into amazing things. The entire Sign episode, the 2 episodes about consent, I just can't wait to see what happens next. And I feel like it can only get, you know, more controversial, but more necessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, look, I've been doing this for a long time, and, you know, this will feel like shameless self-promotion, but it's just really an observation. I have not been on many television shows that actually have such a conscious and yet clever social engagement factor. Social topics, cultural topics. Lizzie is always thinking in that box. Obviously, she has to entertain.
Right.
There has to be romance, mystery, reveals. But at the end of the day, her mission with this show is to say something about how we live, what culture we live in. And I don't think a lot of shows have that as their mission statement.
Yeah.
I mean, really, straight up, if you go into an executive's room and pitch a show and that's part of your mission statement, they'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunately a problem with our television landscape, because I don't think there are enough shows like our show. And again, I don't mean that just as shameless self-promotion, but I really do think that television can lift, can educate, can inspire, and I don't think it does very often. And that's why it's such a joy to be on this show.
I agree.
Yes.
Agree with that wholeheartedly. I want to ask if you guys think that now that Bennett is broken up, not forever, calm down, do you think Skye and Emmett...
Don't say that.
Something will happen?
I don't like Skye.
She's adorable!
She's cute.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there's probably going to be some attempt on his part to sort of, because he'll be like, okay, I'm free now, so I've got to do something. Like, I'm a free man. I'm master of my own destiny, and then that'll probably end on the rocks somehow. And whether with Skye or someone else, because that would just be. I don't think she's going to put him in a monk cell and have him, be thinking about Bay all the time. So I think something's going to happen. I don't know with whom.
Yeah.
I think Bay and Emmett need time alone for a little bit. And I actually think that may happen. I think there may be some interactions with other relationships, but not anything serious. I think that Bay needs to focus on her art. And with everything that's happened to her, I think... us just seeing her character delve into other things is important. I think that may happen. I think it may happen. And I think that Emmett will focus on school. And if things do happen between him and Skye, it'll just kind of be fun. But I actually do think he'll push away from her and focus on all the film stuff.
I fear that what we're heading towards, because Emmett is in California and everybody else is in the same place, that, please don't kill me, that we will have less Emmett in future episodes for at least a few.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I still don't think that will happen.
I mean, I said that when he
happen.
went to school.
Listen, I don't. They don't tell me. I'm just an actor.
I love having you here for the mid-season finale because that means you can't, like, there's nothing where you're like, I can't tell you. Instead, it's
I really don't know.
I don't know. You know, Lizzie always says, I got some cool stuff for you. And then she always says to Vanessa, I'm going to drag you through more than mud next time. You know, so, but I think logically there's going to be, because no one else is in LA unless Daphne goes back out there or I go out there to confront him or something. Yeah. I think there is going to logically be a little arc here where we don't see him so
don't
much.
Don't say that.
But
calm down.
But yeah, he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Like I keep saying, he's the end game relationship.
Yes.
Don't worry. I feel like because we didn't get a promo, we don't even know when the new season's airing. It said coming soon.
Yeah. I mean, we start shooting like April 8th or something like that. And so, you know, early mid-June.
Okay.
Yeah, early mid-June, because that seems to be our sort of pattern now.
Yeah.
January, June.
Yeah. So I think we'll go into a quick round of predictions.
Great.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. Hannah, go.
Well, I kind of just predicted what I thought for Bay and Emmett.
Okay.
But
Recap
I
real
do
quick.
think that they will get back together, but I think they will spend time apart and focus on their passions and hopefully eventually create back a friendship at some point, which leads him back home, and I don't know, whatever.
All right.
Anyways, and I don't know about the wife being alive. I seriously have no idea what to even begin to think about that wife being alive, but I do think that we'll meet the wife. I think she will be in an episode.
And
soon.
what about Dingo?
Oh, he's just fabulous, and their relationship is going to be great, and I think he's going to, you know, inspire Daphne and push her boundaries, and I think she's going to do the same for him, and I just think, you know, we're going to see his shirt off again at some point.
That's my Dingo prediction. The shirt will be off as much as possible. As much as the ABC family will allow.
Great.
I like it. Any other predictions?
I predict, and I have no clue.
Right, I love this.
I predict Travis gets a major league tryout. I bet he gets a shot at the majors.
Yeah.
I predict that Toby and Catherine go to New York and someone loves their musical and that actually goes forward.
Yeah, you're so optimistic.
Yeah, you are optimistic. Big breaks all around.
Yeah.
And I predict that Regina becomes a drug lord. No, I'm just kidding.
I like that.
I'm just kidding.
I really like that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Becomes she runs a cartel at the end.
And she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't know what's going to happen with that one. I don't know. Because Constance is like a shark. She needs a constant source of fresh men. So I don't know how long they can last because they have to feed. It's in her contract. She has to have a new love interest every 7.8 episodes.
No, but we don't want to hear. We like this one.
Right. We do.
I mean,
this one a lot.
that said, we did also love Angela.
Yes.
Yeah. I predict all of yours are correct.
Okay, great.
I'm going to also predict that. I got nothing. I wanted to say something clever about John, but I got nothing. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, DW. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else?
You can follow me on @DW Moffett on Twitter. I'm also @DW Moffett on Instagram, and I have a DW Moffett Facebook page. But the best place to get a hold of me is really Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome.
Nice.
Hannah.
And you all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @TheHotShotDude.
Excellent. And if you want to follow me, because why not? I'm online at yael.tv. That's yael.tv. Also Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Polyvore. I'm on a lot of social media. At Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. And sadly, we won't see you for a bit, but when we come back, we'll be here for more Switch to Birth. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.